wonder what's actually powering your favorite apps, all those websites you visit, or your go-to streaming service? Well, a lot of the time, the answer is this invisible engine called Infrastructure as a Service, or IaaS. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and really see how this foundational layer of the cloud actually works. Seriously, just think about that for a second. Not building one, not buying racks and racks of expensive servers, but renting the incredible power of a global computing network and having it ready to go in minutes. This is the revolutionary idea at the heart of IaaS, and it has completely changed how modern businesses get built. All right, so what is IaaS really? Let's cut through all the jargon and get to a simple definition that just makes sense. And here it is. The easiest way to think about it is this. IaaS is like renting the factory, the heavy machinery, and the power grid, instead of having to build all of that from the ground up yourself. The cloud provider, they manage all the complicated physical hardware, and you just get to use it to build whatever you can dream up, paying only for what you use. It's pretty much the ultimate digital toolkit. Now, to really get a handle on IaaS, we need to look under the hood. So what are the fundamental building blocks that make this whole thing work? Let's break it down layer by layer. Okay, it all starts at the very bottom with the physical layer. We're talking about real data centers with real servers and cooling systems, all the stuff the provider handles. Next up, this is where the magic happens, the virtualization layer. This is where software takes one massive physical server and slices it into many separate, independent virtual machines. Think of it like turning one big house into a bunch of separate apartments. Then you get to rent the core resources. That's the compute power, the storage, the networking for your virtual apartment. And finally, the top layers are all about how you control it, management dashboards, and of course, critical security tools. The main takeaway here, the provider handles all the complex physical junk, you just manage the virtual side. All right, so now we know what IaaS is made of, let's dig into why it's become so dominant. The benefits here are a total game changer for businesses big and small. Oh, the advantages are massive. First off, the whole cost model gets flipped on its head. Instead of these huge upfront capital expenses for hardware, you move to a much more predictable operational expense. And what if you need to handle a huge traffic spike for a big product launch? You can scale up instantly. And just as important, you can scale right back down so you're not paying for power you don't need. This agility means you can move with incredible speed, launching new projects in hours, not months. And really, it all boils down to this. It frees up your team from messing with physical hardware so they can focus on what actually matters, building cool stuff. But, it's not all a walk in the park. With all this power comes responsibility. And there are some very real traps and challenges you absolutely need to be aware of. Just take a look at this number, 32%. According to reports, that's roughly how much of all cloud spending is completely wasted. Yep, just thrown away. It's spent on resources that are just sitting there, doing nothing, or are way more powerful than what's actually needed. This is a huge problem, known as cloud waste, and it's a massive hidden cost. And this cloud waste usually happens because of these common risks. You know that easy pay-as-you-go model? Well, without super strict monitoring, it can turn into a financial nightmare. And if you get too comfortable using one provider's special tools, you can get stuck in what's called vendor lock-in, making it super hard and expensive to ever switch. And probably the most important thing to get is the shared responsibility model for security. The provider secures the cloud's infrastructure for sure, but you are responsible for securing your data in the cloud. One little mistake there can be absolutely disastrous. This quote from one of our sources just nails the cost risk. A startup launched their big project, but they accidentally left these powerful virtual servers running around the clock, and then they got hit with a massive unexpected bill. See? The ease of creating stuff can become a financial headache without proper oversight. And here's that security risk in action. For this e-commerce company, it was just a single, simple firewall rule that an employee misconfigured, and suddenly customer data is out there. The provider's infrastructure was perfectly secure, but the user's setup wasn't. This just shows you how critical having the right expertise really is. So, who are the major players in this massive market? Let's take a quick look at the giants who are shaping the world of IaaS today. You're almost always going to hear about the big three. First, you've got Amazon Web Services, or AWS. They were the pioneers, and they're still the market leader with an absolutely incredible range of services. Then there's Microsoft Azure, a super powerful competitor that's often the go-to choice for businesses already deep in the Microsoft ecosystem. And finally, Google Cloud Platform, or GCP, which has a killer reputation for its work in high-performance networking, data analytics, and AI. And here's a key trend for you. While AWS is still king of the hill in market share, both Azure and GCP are actually growing at a faster rate right now. But hey, the world of IaaS isn't just a three-horse race. You have giants like Alibaba Cloud, which is a massive force over in Asia, and you've also got a whole ecosystem of smaller, more specialized providers like Kamatera that might focus on things like extreme flexibility or high-performance customization. So we've covered the what, the why, and the who. Let's finish up with the where. What are the perfect jobs for IaaS? IaaS really hits a home run in a few key areas. It's perfect for hosting websites with traffic that goes up and down because you can scale on demand. It's a developer's dream for creating and then tearing down test environments quickly and cheaply. It's also a surprisingly cost-effective way to build a solid disaster recovery plan. And for those massive jobs like big data analysis or heavy scientific computing, you can rent a supercomputer for a few hours instead of having to buy one. So that's IaaS in a nutshell. It isn't an application itself. It's something way more fundamental. It's the raw power of computing delivered as a utility, just like electricity from a power outlet. It gives you the servers, the storage, and the network, the basic building blocks of our digital world. The only question left is, what will you build with them?